Robert, and now we're looking at the process of how to prepare for the meeting and the qualification process. So I'm going to pass over to Robert to talk us through that process.
Okay, so having had the information sent across from Sean on the upcoming appointment, whether that be from referral or cold calling or wherever the source of that, would then be over to myself then as to carry out some pre-meeting qualification. So initially that would be done in the form of a call into the point of contact that Sean's allocated for this company. And it would be done in a very easy going, straightforward call, brief introduction ahead of the meeting, and I would be asking for some various information around the company, the fleet information, fleet details, how many vehicles are we dealing with, and what type of vehicles are we dealing with in terms of the specific types, makes, models, things like that, that I can then gather that information up even at this early stage to be thinking of, other examples of clients that we have in that space. Any systems that they would currently be using. So if they're using telematics, if they're using camera systems, it's important before I arrive on site that I have a grasp of what they have, and even just a pre-qualification before I would drive 3-4 hours potentially to meet a prospect. It's important to know. I mean, if they have a 3-year contract still in place, by all means, we'll look at it. Perhaps we schedule that as a Teams as opposed to for our round trip for an opportunity that's really for down the line. So it's just getting all that pre-qualification information to then understand, if we get a live opportunity, what sort of an opportunity have we got? Is it fuel smart? In which case then we can proceed and confirm the meeting for whenever that's been scheduled for. Generally, we try and schedule that for when sales guys in the area or when it's most practical to do so, but we will also go out of our way to meet specific clients at their requested date and time. Once we've qualified the opportunity and everything's set in stone in terms of a meeting, then in the lead up to that, I'll do some basic meeting preparation. So it will be just looking at the location of the client that I'm going to meet, the prospect that we're going to meet, seeing what other customers we might have in that area, as well as then relating back to some of the pre-qualification information that we have, say on the fleet, so fleet size and fleet type. So if it's crane hire specific, what other companies have I got in that industry that we can be talking about really relative content that just brings that meeting to a real comfortable place. And so then it's further, I suppose it's what would you call it? It's nearly reassurance from their point of view that we're qualified to deal with this type of company because we've many examples there. So that's something that in my many years of experience has worked well. If you're going into a company there and you have the oil industry is a big one for us. We've many companies within the oil industry, and you can quote a couple of key names in that industry. They're bought into you and your company and your system and your ability to work with them. So we do that. We look at what fleet they're operating and where they are, who we have in that area, because again, that gives us further credibility. If I have 5 customers around them, and let's say Monaghan for talk's sake, chances are they probably know that these guys. It's as good as a referral itself then, having local customers. It's important to know then from Sean's information the people that we're meeting within the organisation. So, I mean, meetings for various sizes of projects that we've been involved in over the years could be one man in an office to a boardroom setup where you're meeting 5 or 6 different people. So it's important to try and understand who's who and who needs to know what key information. So a bit of an understanding of the management structure of the business and who you're meeting. And then lastly, I'll have carried out a small bit of research just on the company's website. So if I can just do a quick. Is that on Chrome down? Yeah.
Yeah.
Share. So this would be a company that we met, let's say 2 years ago. But you'll see just on the slides there, the website is opening page. There's a bit of information on the fleet. So I already know from one of the gas tanks on it, they're in the alternative fuels. So they've got one eye on the future and they're thinking greener, which is perfect for Fuel Smart. That's what it's all about in terms of what it's aimed to do in reducing poor driving performances, monitor driving behaviour, monitor fuel and carbon emissions and things like that. So there's a lot can be got from a quick 5-minute glimpse on a prospect's website. Once I have all that information gathered up, written down and in my head, I'm ready to go and meet these guys.
Very good. Yeah, that's fantastic. Can I ask So the website, yes, is a great channel to get a lot of that pre-qualification information. Is there ever an occasion where you need to find out more, maybe about, say, management structure and stuff, wouldn't necessarily be in or on the website? Sometimes it could, but most of the time it wouldn't be. Any just other tricks or sort of tribal knowledge and how you get that information?
Not necessarily. I mean, we did use a credit referencing website there. I think it was called OneSource. We had used about a while back. And there's others obviously available to get management structure, ownership structure, and then some key financial information. Maybe just on the larger opportunities, we would look at things like that. Generally speaking, 9 out of 10, the website and the pre-qualification call would be plenty. Now, off the back of the appointment, which we come to in other processes within the whole sales process, we will be looking for financial information, and we will be using other resources.
Okay. And is there a pre-qualification checklist, even all them things you're naming out? Does such a document exist, or maybe that's something we could create? Quite simply, a document that this is the kind of 8-12 pieces of information that we need for each lead.
That's something that we could create. That is something that I would imagine each salesperson within the organization does slightly differently. So it is something that you could make uniform, and make it easier for any incoming new people that there's a structure there, pre-qualification structure.
Yeah, what we'll do is we could create even a version 1 of that template as a pre-qualification checklist, and we can include this as part of this process once it goes on the System Hub. So that's something maybe Dan, you and I can look at after this. And then just the other question I have, so whenever you're in, and I get it, the oil companies, everything is so nearly tribal within Northern Ireland, everyone knows each other. Do they actually say, whenever you say quote a name or of another company, do you ever introduce them, like, oh, such and such? Does they ever go a step further? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 100%. You know yourself, you mentioned there the tribalism within the country, and then within each subsector of even just transport as a sector itself. It's a small place, they all know each other. So the chances are, genuinely, when I give you that Monaghan referencing, we have about 5 companies within a catchment area, and they literally all meet each other, but not necessarily meet each other. They bump into each other at the local pub on a Friday evening, so they all actually know each other. So if you can turn around and say, yeah, we're dealing with BM Transport and Monaghan, if you're in with one of those 4 or 5 other guys, Monaghan Mushrooms, for example, you're halfway there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, any questions, Sean, from you or Dan?
That's good to me, Robert.
All good.
All good. Okay, thank you very much, Robert. I'm going to stop recording here.